Hey, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and join me today to teach you how to make this cute little tortoise. I'm going to make a purple one, but look at this guy because this one is finished and we don't quite get done with the purple one. So today we're going to make this cute little tortoise, and I can tell you this guy's tedious because of all of his spots, and you need to know we're not going to finish the color we start today. So you're going to look at this guy and go, okay, it's really cute, and you're going to see how far I get and know that yours will look like this in whatever colors you choose. We're going to make a purple turtle. He'll be green, but his shell will be purples. It's going to be cute. Okay, so to get started, I'm using this cartwheel color and lavender, and this is tadpole, perfect for a turtle. Coral, under shell's going to be yellow. Won't that be cute? And then I just have a little bit of brown, a little bit of gray in case I want to do some shading, and black for his details, eyeballs and stuff, and then wires. So first you're going to need a 12-inch wire for his shell. And you know I always make my little cheat sheet. And you're just going to make a little oval out of this 12-inch wire. Just twist it around. Let's twist it back. So, you know, you could probably do this without a wire, but it's so much easier with a wire. And then you need 3 10-inch wires, 2 for the legs and 1 for the head. And I will show you how to do that in a minute. The head and the tail, actually. So 3 10-inch wires, 1 12-inch wire. This is your shell base. And we're going to get started. So, like I said, you don't really need a wire, but it makes it so much easier. And you'll see why. So we're going to take some coral. And I like to wrap it a little lightly. Now, because I'm using 18 gauge wire. I don't know if I said I was using 18, but I am. You don't want to pull this tight or you'll lose the shape of your oval. This video might be kind of long. It would be super, super long if you sat and watched me put spots on. But after I do a couple, you guys are going to get it and you're going to understand it. And that's the last step anyways. So you can see I'm just wrapping core. I'm building the base of his shell. Always be mindful of the fact there's a wire on the edge. I don't know, and I think by putting the wire in there, it gives us a little bit of flexibility to mold the shape of the shell how we want it very easily. Because it's going to dip up at the front. See, it goes up right there and a little bit up here. And we can do that with the wire. All right, so I wrapped a bunch of core, and now I'm just going to stab it for a while. Let's get this all firmed in. This is going to take us a bit. I want to see everybody posting turtles on the Liongate Farm Facebook group. I love everything you guys have all been posting. It's so awesome. You know, you don't just have to post stuff that I teach you how to make. Post whatever is in your creativity. You know, I always say wrap tight so that you can work smarter, not harder. And this is the one of the cases where you cannot wrap super tight because you want this to be nice and firm, but you want to maintain your oval. But this core it felt really fast. So basically I'm making an oval pancake. Once I have it all the way, reasonably felted. There we go. So now we're going to take some more core wool. Someone requested a tortoise, and I'm just rolling it up, you guys. Roll it. And it's going to end up right here. You know, they have this hump in the middle. I want you to know I've never made a turtle before I made this. This is my first turtle. He was kind of fun. I used to make stuff and I would just make it. I would cruise along, but now I have to be mindful of the notes so I can teach you guys how to do it. So now I've got the lump in the middle and I need to smooth this out. So I'm just going to start adding wool along here. No wonder. Hey, Cannon, could you do me a favor? You guys, this is hilarious. I'm like, why is that not felting very fast? Here, we'll be right back. I'm going to change out a needle here. I have a broken needle. Back after the needle emergency. See, I break needles too. I probably leaned across the table and bumped it, and it broke in my pad. It happens all the time. That's how I break the most needles. Going much faster now, like it should be. So like I attach that piece. And we're coming around. I'm going to attach another little piece here. Let's just smooth this out down to the edge. If you hear commenting in the background, it's John and my father watching golf, which is, to me, is like watching grass grow or paint dry. I don't much like golf, but I would rather play it than watch it on TV. They are certified addicts. So what we're doing is building the shell. You can already see a shape of the shell taking place. It's great. You can make this as tall as you want. I mean, you know, look at pictures of turtles. You know mine's going to be whimsical this time. Super whimsical, because he's going to be purple. I mean, a purple turtle, why not? I had to sit and think what I wanted to do. So I'm anything that's hanging over the edge, I'm bringing it around, poking it in underneath here to the shell, where the shell's going to be, or where the dude is going to be. I love when you guys get super creative and take my design and make it something else. It's the best. It's even more fun when I see you guys teaching it, other people how to do it. Now I need a little piece right here. Let's blend this in. You can see this isn't super firm. It doesn't need to be super firm. It will firm up more as we add the colors. You can see I'm getting a lip here. This part right here is where these spots are going to go. And your wire's out in there somewhere. It shouldn't be showing because we wrapped around it. Like I said, this will all firm up. I'm going to carry this around as we add color. So we don't really have to decide what the front and the back is, but we know that where the turtle's head and front legs come out, the shell goes up. And see, with that wire in there, we can make it do that. Just make a slight bend. And that's where his little head's going to come out. And you need to work this on your felting pad. Remember, I hold it up because my neck is not happy 90% of the time. And I don't like to make it mad, because then it takes days to be unmad. And sometimes chemistry, better living through chemistry. All right, so there's where his head's going to be. I'm just going to poke this a little bit tighter. All right, so now we have a shell already. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty, seems like it's going to go fast. The building of the turtle goes pretty fast. The decorating of the turtle takes forever. So now you're going to take one of your 10-inch wires and you are going to bend it around. It's about 2 inches that you bend around. Now, turtles are funny because they're kind of pointed nose. And I like to just kind of make a semblance of a head there. So 2 inches around. This is about 1 inch. Then you had some to wrap. You know, and then I have my handy dandy little chart that I'm going to post when we post the video for you. And then just bend over 1 inch. You can crimp this end where the tail is. Crimp that end. So now what we have is a wire turtle. So this is going to go here. That will go there. And to get him started, take about a 6-inch piece of core and split it. And I start right at the neck and I wrap it around and I tack it. Because I don't want to have to worry about letting it go. So that's tacked, so I don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to go behind the head, over the head. So behind the head, under, over. Let's go over again. And we'll poke that in. Now they have funky faces, so it's always a triangle. I swear everything's a triangle, but it's narrower along here, wider along here. So now I'm going to take that other piece that I had and split it again, so I just have a tiny piece I'm working with. I'm going to take that out, and I want it wider. Let's make his head a little wider. And then I'm going to poke like a V. So you can see I have this triangle happening here. And I have the bottom of his head. The bottom of the head is flat. So let's flatten this out a little bit. I know normally we cover this whole wire before we start working, but I'm always like, okay, let's get the head done. And we're about the same size as this guy. I just want to poke this in a little bit. My wire is right there, so I need a little bit more on the end here. You know how I hate having that wire close to the surface, because you never know. Sometimes they can poke out, but it shouldn't. because it was rounded. So let's build that up a little bit. And I'm not going to worry about building it up anymore because it'll happen with the color. So now I'm going to make him into a worm pretty much. It's a worm with a head or a snake, and I'm just going to wrap this wire. Remember, don't let this twist. It gets bulky then. I'm just going to wrap. We're going out to the end of his tail. Sorry, my computer sound is on and it's making noise. We're not going to worry about that right now. Maybe we are going to worry about that. My computer notifications. I don't know, do we want to turn it off or not worry about it? Yeah, we're not going to worry about it. You guys all know what that is. So here we have this little snake happening. What? Somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Get in, shut the laptop. Okay, so here we go. We got his little head. And you're wondering, why am I building up this wire when it's just going to go inside the shell? Well, I will show you in a second why we're going to do that. It doesn't have to be super felted. We just need it a little bit fat. I looked at a bunch of pictures online. So look, we have this head and this tail. See how that's going to go? It's going to end up right there. So now, while you have it like this, I want you to take one of your other wires. Now the front legs are fairly close. We're about an inch back from the edge of the shell. So I want you to find center pretty much. And I want you to wrap it around. And when you wrap it around, there we go. Don't worry about their length right now. See, that's where his legs are going to be. In the back legs, you got your tail. Again, about an inch back from where the tail comes out. This is not very scientific. We're just getting his legs in there. All right, so we have 4 legs. So now you can put him back where he belongs. And we're going to use what we wrapped to attach it to the shell. Now, if you want his head poking out more than I did, you can lengthen this wire by 3/4 of an inch, and that works good too. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to poke on this guy for a while until everything is nice and solid. Don't attach this. I mean, this is nice and solid. We want this nice and solid. But we want this all attached. We want the shell, the shape that we want it, but we're going to sit and poke this all into the shape we want it. And then we're going to come back and put his belly on. Okay, so I've been poking on him for probably a good 20 minutes. He's nice and firm and shaped. So you can see I got a shape going with his edges. I finished the edges. He's got his little tail there. And then on the face, I kind of just poked in some eyeballs. Just so I know where they're at. And then I always like my guys to smile. So I poke this nice and firm under here. And what happens when I put the smile on is it made cheeks. And you might have to add just a little extra. But you're like, why is she doing it in the core wool? Because I just like to know where they're at. All right. We're going to put on his skin first, on his tail, his legs, and his face. Okay, I'm using this tadpole color, which is kind of cool because it's variegated. Let's talk about the legs for a second. So the legs end up about 2 inches. About 2 inches. Is that what I wrote? Before the belly is added. And so kind of bend your wire up. It doesn't have to be all fancy. But you want to make sure they're going to look long because the belly part of the shell is not on. So let's add some legs. Now you can do the fancy way. I just take little bits. You don't have to worry about this part. And you know how I like to wrap it down. You don't have to do what I'm going to do next because this wire is going to disappear because these legs are so chunky. But you know I like to cover the wire. So I went past it and I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to twist it. And then I'm going to wrap back up. And notice that I'm not doing core wool. I just do the legs out of the regular color that I'm using for the body. So let's wrap this nice and fat down here. His feet, the feet area ends up like 3/4 of an inch across. So it takes a little bit of wool. Hopefully I'm still in the frame. Think elephant feet. Want them nice and chunky. I like them to get a little bit skinnier at the top, but not much. You know, you're past that wire, that's all that matters. Because you wrapped that wire around his body, it should not change in length. So remember, his leg's going to go like that. You can already see it's going to be cool. All right, let's get this all poked in. You know, when I did the first guy, I did his legs after I put the belly on. And hindsight is 20/20. So you guys are getting my 20/20. It's easier to do this way. But you can do it either way. It was just harder to wrap the wire once the belly part was on. Okay, let's get a second leg. There's a cute little leg. Get a second leg on. Same thing. Doesn't matter if you get let the extra go in his chest. I'm wrapping. Notice this time I'm using a little bigger piece because I wasn't paying attention the first time. Going up, twisted a hair. Remember, always wrap the same way, otherwise your previous wrap will come undone. I saw somebody else do a video on somewhere. It was on Facebook or Instagram on a tortoise, a real live looking tortoise. That was pretty cool. She took a couple of shortcuts that I didn't think about, but they weren't all felting. But the end product was felted, and it was way cool. But it was very realistic. So make sure your legs are the same size. And these you can wrap pretty tight. Just you want it nice and smooth. Now I'm working up in this area because this part sticks out of the shell. The little legs where they come in. You have your little breastplate that's going to come up to about there. So now I'm going to go behind his head and get this color on. I never had a pet turtle. Kenna, did you have a pet turtle?
I did not.
I had a guinea pig named Squeaky because it would squeak every time you opened the fridge. That guinea pig could hear the fridge being opened, I swear, from 10 rooms away. Because it knew it was getting lettuce. Or something yummy out of the fridge. And we had a pet chipmunk.
Oh.
My dad found it. And it was very little, and we fed it with an eyedropper to begin with. It was very, very tiny. And it lived. It lived for a very long time. And best memory ever, my mom used to make it pancakes on Sundays, because we all had pancakes on Sundays. And she would make pancakes the size of a quarter. And he would sit there and eat his little pancakes.
This was a gerbil?
No, it was a chipmunk.
Oh, wow.
A 13-striped chipmunk. He lived for like 12 years. He was living the high life. And then he got out one time. He got out. He wasn't super friendly, but he got out on his own. He went down in the heating ducts. Don't you guys love to hear my funky stories? My dad had to rig this elaborate trap. You know, where he'd go in and pull on the food and his door would close. It was pretty funny. He was a cool little chipmunk. Had to have his teeth trimmed and everything. Who knew? That was a very long time ago. We won't even talk about how long ago that was. So see where the eye holes were? I could feel them, so I'm poking them in. And now he's already looking like a turtle. I really like this tadpole color for his body because it's variegated. It's giving him some, like, you know how they're always wrinkly. I never had a pet turtle, but we caught them a lot. You have to be very sneaky to catch turtles. Did you know that? Very, very sneaky.
Yeah, they won't let you get close.
Oh, they will if you're silent and the canoe is sliding and one person is poised in the front with the net. And then the other person is, you know, paddling very, very quietly. It's kind of funny. We perfected it. And then we would let him go. We also got a lot of leeches that way. Those were horrible. Okay, so you got all his head color on. I don't like this one spot. I keep fixing it. There, right there. Could just be the variegation, but it's bugging me. because it's lighter. Okay, so find his eyes. Get this all. Poke those in. And we have his smile. See, look at a piece of coral became visible. Let's see if I can make that disappear. You can always fix it, even if you use scissors. I'm working already on the next video item, and I had to fix what I was doing with scissors. Don't worry, I won't teach you how to do that the wrong way. I did it the wrong way first. So you have your little bits of black. You know how I never let you put the face on? Well, I'm going to let you put the face on first. So let's put in his eyes. Just a little bit. Fibers, just very few fibers. See, very few. Twist them up. Let's put them where his mouth goes. Don't make this part thick. It's so much better when the details are fine. My opinion. Take your time with these. Yeah, see, look, he's cute already. But he's still pretty squishy in his head and stuff, and I will firm that up a little bit. Now, I still have coral showing there. I'm going to cover this up. I still have it around his lip, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. It's disappearing. So on my guy here, I gave him eyelids. And then I used a Sharpie to give him nose holes. So for eyelids, I have a bit of gray here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of gray. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it. And you can do a little stabbing on this tiny little piece if you want. And then I'm going to put it on his eye. I'm using gray so that it contrasts a little bit. I feel like he needs an eyelid. Let's just pull it up. Pull all your little pieces up. You don't have to put an eyelid if you don't want. I feel like it gives them personality though. I think he needs a little bit more eyeball. There, he just became whimsical. He went from being almost looking like real to whimsical. So, see, way better. Way better. So let's get a little bit more green over here. And I'm going to get a little eyeball or a little eyelid going. Remember, just take off a little piece of your gray or whatever color you're using. You can poke it a little bit. You don't really need to, but you can. Let's put this one on. Just stab either side above his eye. You can switch to a 42 triangle needle at this point to help get all your extra fibers in if you want. I tend to do everything with this 38 star spiral, mostly because I'm stubborn. Always check so you got your little, where your little nose holes are going to go. Make this a little more pointed on the sides. I still think that one little spot is bugging me. It's probably bugging you guys too. Those nose holes are spaced about 1/8 of an inch apart. All right, so we have a little head. Isn't he cute? He's pretty cute. And we have some front legs. We're going to add his toenails later. All right, now let's put his back legs on. Just like the front legs. I'm going to wrap these up. So here, I'll show you how I do it without doing that little bend in the wire. Just wrap it and cover it. Let's go a little bit past. Remember, you want to keep them the same width as the front legs. Turtles actually have little toenails that are very sharp. I'm going to let these go ahead and get skinny. Well, a little bit skinnier. So a lot of them will be covered. So you have this leg that's going to be here, and this leg that's going to be here. Just like that. Still want to make sure he's the same height. Whoops, I came unfelted. Look at that. Get in there. Tack it in, wrap it. End. All right, what do we got here? So you have 4 legs, pretty much. You need felted a little bit more, but he looks kind of silly right now, doesn't he? Because he has no bottom shell. So let's put the yellow on. So if you look at this, we're gonna do just a basic shell. The shell's going to come up to here, but it doesn't go around. It just comes up like a breastplate here. And then it's going to come around this leg up to there. Again, I'm just using the straight yellow. You could do a little bit with core wool if you wanted. I'm just using the straight yellow. I used 1/4 ounce of the the tadpole on, I used up the whole 1/4 ounce on this guy, on the green, and I'm working on a 1/4 ounce of yellow. I like to tell you guys how much I'm using, so you know if you need to order. It's just one of my $1 balls. See, his long legs make way more sense now. It's almost like we're gonna put a little diaper on him. I do go around his whole back leg, even though I don't think I'm supposed to, like on a real turtle. Tail's coming out of there. Let's go around this leg. I'm going to felt that a little better in a minute. I want another piece right here. So that's the way we're going to do that first. And you're going to work on this for a while. I want to get this felted pretty firm. And you can decide how far down you want this to come. And I like how this turtle is coming out so much better than my first one. Make sure your tail's in the middle of that back part. Okay, so you're putting your yellow on. You're going to felt that pretty decently firm because we're going to sculpt this in a minute. And then the next part I want you to cover, because this is just the boring covering part. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do that. The next part, so the shell, we have a lighter color and a darker color. I'm going to use lavender underneath, purple on top. So the next step is to cover the whole, oh, you know what? I forgot to cover his little tail. So it's going to take a little bit more than a 1/4. The next step is to cover this entire shell in this lavender or whatever color you're using underneath. On the first one, I use like an orange. You're going to cover the entire shell. So I like to go in here, and then fold it back. I feel like that gives me the best cover of this edge. So stab it into there, bring it back. That's going to give us the best cover of this little skinny edge, which ends up being a lot skinnier once we have all of our spots on. So you're going to do this all the way around and cover the top of your shell with this color. And that will take you a while. It'll take a good while. To get this all felted. So again, even up in here, I'm going to tuck that in, up along the shell, fold it back over, work it up towards the top. So just keep doing that all the way around until you're all covered, and then we'll come back and put on some spots. Okay, so remember I forgot to wrap his tail, and I'm wrapping it. This is a little bit darker dye lot than the other one I had. Get this all done. So I worked on this. I've been working on it for about half an hour, and I am not totally firmed up. But I want to show you. So we're not going to show you how to, remember I told you we're not going to show you the whole guy on this purple one, but I want to show you a few things. So I'm using the dark purple on the top. On the bottom, once you get him nice and firm, you're going to make some lines. You're going to stab them in. Stab them in. You know, if you want, you can go straight. A lot of times they will have a line like this and a line like this. And just keep putting the lines. And then I want you to take some thin fibers from your top color and just go into the lines. And that will give you your lines across the bottom. So you're going to do that all the way across. You don't have to use the top color of the shell. That's the color I like. You could use black if you wanted. Again, it depends on what colors you choose for your turtle. So just take and you're going to go across. Rip's trying to be on camera again. And again, make sure this is nice and tightly felted. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll get there. All right, so there's his belly. And you have this. And then we're just going to start adding spots. How I do it is I just take a little bit of the color. We're going to come along. Remember, we have this edge along here. And you're going to just put in a spot, depending on what kind of turtle you're making. Because remember, it's up to you guys and your creativity. And you get this all in here. And then the most important part for these spots is to get them close together, but not have any fibers in the little space. So just take your time and put all your spots on. So you go all the way around with this one layer, and then you'll do the next layer, and you know, make them random shapes. But you see how I just got some fibers in there? But I like it nice and close. You might have to add, and you can see what's happening. If it will start to felt the shell tighter and tighter the more color you add. And I could sit here and make you guys watch me put all these spots on, but I'm not going to do that. So you're going to add tinier ones down here along this edge. And this is where that edge will start to become thinned out as you add these spots. I didn't grab enough fiber for that. And then you're going to add another one down here on this side. So let's put another one so you can kind of see what I'm going to do. And make sure you leave this little edge open. So it's like this. So you have this little edge down here. And normally, you know, I finish my whole dude while I'm talking to you guys. But we'll be sitting here for like 3 hours, maybe longer, if I was to do that. So this is as far as I'm going to take you today on this project. And we'll post a picture of this one when it's done. Maybe in the comments. Can we post pictures in the comments, Cannon?
No.
Oh, so it'll be on the Facebook page. I'll post a picture of this guy when he's totally done. But until then, you can kind of see where we're at. Super cute turtle. Super cute. That's what we need to do.